This episode of Dust War Journals is brought to you by Art Wallace. If you want to bring it, go to patreon.com and support Dust War Journals with as low as $1 per month. And now on with the show. This is Dust War Journals, episode 18, your number one source for all news Dust 1947 related. My name is Johannes, and with me today are
Ludwig, Ludda,
and
Magnus, known as Magwiz on the forum.
So there's been kind of a quiet month, actually, in the Dust world. At least when it comes to new releases, and I guess part of that reason could be because of the Chinese New Year. Mm-hmm. Since the Dust Studio is mostly Hong Kong based, so that's probably a part of it. But that doesn't mean that stuff isn't happening, and especially not in our own lives. I don't think for you, Magnus, that there's been that much hobby work.
No, I wouldn't say that. This month has been just crazy for me. Basically, I moved this past weekend, and thank you so much, guys, for helping me out.
No problem.
I needed it.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah,
was it that traumatic for you, Ludwig?
Yes, I totally blanked it out. No, but okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am also at the moment. No, but we finally made it. We have a much bigger apartment, and I finally have my own hobby room.
Yeah,
it's going to take a while to get settled in there, but I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Just the fact that to have your own space and everything. It's really cool, and it's a really nice panoramic window.
Yeah, it's nice apartment.
Really great view from there.
Yeah, people living in a real skyscraper will probably laugh at me, but I couldn't even walk close to the windows. I had to stay a meter apart for something like that because
it's a bit up. It's on the 9th, 10th floor actually.
Yeah.
So it's.
For being in Gothenburg, it's very, very high.
Yeah. But it's a nice view.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful view.
Yeah. Talking about panoramic windows, you've been working on something this past few weeks, Ludda.
Yeah, well, it's been quite hectic since actually New Year. I don't know if we did the Hobbit time last episode, actually. I think we had so really much to talk about, so I think we brushed through that. But yeah, I'm working on a scenario for the, or not the scenario, terrain for Nordic. I'm trying to build an airfield. I'm building a air control tower, and I'm having two hangar bays done. I've been doodling a little bit with some stuff for the train station. I will hopefully get some time to get something done with the city board as well. I had unfortunately had to take a step back. I realized now only 3 weeks left for the tournament. I had a grand vision of the Sverograd Square, or the community square. I won't be able to finish that for this Nordic. It will be for a later time. Mm-hmm. But I will try to incorporate what I've done so far with that into the old river town to make it the river of Sverograd. Oh, yeah. That's at least my ambition now, 3 weeks in. I'm having 2 weeks without my daughter, so I still have good confidence. Unfortunately, for some reason, those next 3 weeks, for some reason, the company I work at actually wants me to work, and they have given me
the nerve.
The nerve. It's been 3 years without doing anything, and now 3 weeks to Nordic, they cram me with work. So, but I will try to offload this to people below me in the organization, as always, as one do, if we have the possibility. So still, I haven't given up yet, but we will see what I will only bring to Nordic, of course, what I can respect and what I feel is okay for those who come. Yeah, the players
represents you.
Yeah, which I can. So yeah, I've been doing quite a lot actually, and you see some of the stuff laying around, standing in a couple of places.
Oh yes.
And I'm also painting my army for the Nordic and for the tournaments previous Linköping and the Uddevalla. I've been doing quite, but unfortunately also I haven't been able to do my battle report from Linköping, and I'm really pissed on myself because Well, the energy hasn't been that much, so I haven't had the enough amount of energy. But perhaps it's only me who's sad that I haven't made that one. But at least there's a ton loads of things to do.
I think your last kind of battle report story was kind of well received, I think.
I hope so. I haven't heard anyone who told me it was shit, but my ambition was this time when we do this episode, I should have already produced the Linköping battle report as well.
Yeah, sure.
And it's still just the raw
Time
sketches.
flies.
Yeah,
yeah. And I really get what you're saying about just the energy, and I think I'm very happy that we're finally getting some sun again here in the north.
Yes.
We don't really have the warmth yet, so I'm hoping that's going to be better for Nordic because it's freezing cold at the moment.
Historically cold.
Yeah.
It hasn't been this cold.
I don't know, for years.
Yeah,
years
10
and
years or something like that.
Yeah, it's stupidly cold for being this time of year, actually. So I hope for our international guests that it will thaw out a bit in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but unfortunately they have told us, the weathermen who try to predict these stuff, of course, long-time predicaments concerning weather, we all know is very, very difficult. It changes dramatically from just second to second, the weather. But it should be cold a month, and one more month. So if you, you poor bastards who come here to Nordic, bring extra sweaters, extra pants, extra everything. We will have to try to...
We will warm you up. We will give you a group hug when you arrive.
Well, how Johannes will warm you up, we leave that to stay at Nordic, I think.
Well, I am the tournament organizer. I have to take care of the players. So, yeah, for me, it really hasn't been that much time and energy. Otherwise, it's much of my time has been just trying to get everything suited up for Nordic. We kind of had a little hiccup with the place that fortunately solved itself. So we thought that we might not be able to get the place that we thought we would.
There was some kind of double booking going back and forth, and eventually it kind of solved itself.
It sorted itself out. So there's no changes, fortunately. So I'm very happy about that. But otherwise, it's just been kind of planning for the future, because I've talked about stuff. I still want to finish up my Desert Scorpions, especially now when we have some upcoming stuff that I already own. We're going to return to that point. And then also, since I talked about last episode, the Blutkreuz, suddenly they are very much in the front of my mind for some reason. Yes. And I also finally got a little package that I ordered back on Black Friday. The resin mouse in 1/48 scale.
Oh yes.
And this thing is a deadly weapon, and I mean that literally. You could bludgeon someone with it. It's like a brick.
And if you drop it, make sure you don't drop it on your own foot, because
exactly. I have to wear like steel-tipped boots when playing this unit. It's fantastic, and just so intimidating, and just the fact that you can change out the cannon that comes with it with one of the cannon pipes from the Koenigs Luther. So directly dustification, no fuss, no muss. I'm really looking forward to painting this like a classic, like dark gray German Axis thing, and just going with the Blutkreuz. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be a really mouth-watering thing to look at, and it's going to be so hard to play against it, because the first couple of games you have against it, you will be sitting there drooling over it, and I wish I could find the economy to buy it myself. I'm so envious. It's good that it's so heavy, so you can't easily nick it from you. I mean, because and I like the heavy tanks also,
and this is heavy in many ways. So
it's like pure resin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a solid chunk. It's not hollow anywhere. It's just it's crazy.
And this is backtracking a little bit with what you said in the beginning there, and it's perhaps a little bit local, if you want to call it that. But I just like, when we talk about the locale for Nordic and stuff, there seems that we're going to have an extreme good fortune concerning that one, if I understood it correctly. So I would like to shout out massive thank you and respect to the other tournament organizer for Nordic, Mats.
Yes.
Because it seems like we might be getting that locale as our own Nordic or own Viking locale for hobby time in the future. It might be our standard local hobby gaming
spots. Yeah.
So, and that would be massive, I think.
Sounds really good to get going there. It's a good place. I mean, we've been there for events like previous in
Gubbspel Gallo.
Yeah, I mean, not organized by us, but still, it's a good place and nice people running it and everything. So
and it's a little bit more central, I would think. At least it would be equally bad for everyone because how it's placed for.
Yeah, but it's easy to get there just by tram or bus. There's a big.
And even for me, I'm living. Well, a bit outside the city.
On the island.
Yeah, exactly. but still, the local bus that's just outside my apartment, it goes all the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No stops. Of course, there stops. There are no changes in between.
It's when you had a word with the driver. It's no stops.
Exactly. That's when I bring up the mouse. No stops. All right, let's go to talk some Dust news. We've had a few new releases, not that many. We have two kind of re-releases with premium patterns. We have the Spetsnaz Command Squad in the Sverograd pattern, so it seems that they are starting to release slowly all of the Spetsnaz in the Sverograd pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have the Tropical Nina in the Babylon and the Condor pattern. And I think just for these, the Tropical KV-47s has really kind of had a backlash this edition, I think. Because it seems like most people aren't playing them because of the regular KV-47s just got that big boost. It's not that the Tropical got a nerf really, but rather that the non-Tropical ones just suddenly got so much better than they were.
Okay, well, I have to disagree, of course. Who would
of course, that's otherwise? Your job.
Yes, that's why what I bring to the table. No, but seriously, to me, I always it's more of like when I played Russians and when I play Russians, I always have other stuff I want to play more than KV-47s. I play KV-47s only when I play Spetsnaz, and I think they kick ass, especially when you have, of course, Iron Joe, who can reactivate the KV-47 Tropicals, which is amazingly good. And the thing is, why I like the KV-47 Tropicals more than the regular ones is, of course, the second weapon line. I know you get more damage resilience, more hits and stuff like that with the other ones, and you can argue points and costs and stuff like that. But to me, perhaps it's just the way I play, but two weapon lines is better than one, no matter how many lives you have, almost. Perhaps not a mouse
that is a
with
good
one
point,
weapon line, but yeah. Sorry, Magnus.
I have to say I agree with Johannes on this. That the tropical ones they aren't bad at all. It's just that the non-tropical ones they got a huge boost. So if you compare them points for points, I would say the non-tropicals are just a bit sharper. And I don't know, they are in some specific army builds. You are correct, Ludwig. The tropical ones make more sense, but in a lot of like generic lists. And because the non-tropical ones are usually, a couple of points cheaper. So maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you only have those 8 or 9 points left. And it can be hard to squeeze in that tropical one. And then you can just use the non-tropical one just as well. So I think that's a big part of it. That they are just, they got a boost and are just a little bit cheaper generally.
And of course I have to jump back then and say, well, listeners out there, Johannes, well, he dabbles once in a while with the SSU, and Magnus almost never plays it. You know who's right in this argument. Yeah, you know who knows it. So, but I don't have to prove this, so let's be the good chap and move along.
Yes. And talking about the difference in weapon lines, the next completely new unit, the Purifier. This is a Dustified only kit, so only available as an elite member on the Dust Studio page. This is, I think it's a Russian BA-12, BA-10. Well, it's an armored car. It's a Russian armored car.
It's one of those BA whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know I had it. I think it's
BA
a BA.
everything.
I think it's a BA-10, and it's been kitted with a flamethrower. This is for the cultist, the Mythos block. And I must say I am in love with the look of this, and especially the camo. That's kind of a colorful dazzle camo. We haven't seen anything like this in the game up to this point, and I just think it's fabulous. And if you look at it stat-wise, it's almost identical to the Axis armored car that we talked about a few episodes ago, the Lancia Fiamme. The only difference is that the Axis car has one more machine gun and it costs 1 point more. That's the only difference. So I still think that this is a very interesting vehicle, still only vehicle 2, so it's going to explode just by looking at it, basically. Yeah. But it looks cool, and, well, it has a range 2 flamethrower on it. So, yeah, it can definitely do some damage, I think.
I mean, flamethrowers are always nice, always lethal, and...
definitely.
No matter how they are packaged.
Yeah.
I'm ambivalent. What's the? Now the tongue is loose again. But about the camo, I love that we haven't seen it. It is too hysterical for me, so I both hate it, but I also enjoy that it's something different, something new.
Yeah, exactly, and that for me fits perfectly in with the cultists. This would have looked very strange in any of the other armies, but with the cultists, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I don't hate it. I don't think it doesn't have a place. I still don't like it, but I still like it. If you know, it's that strange mix. Although one thing I lack with it is the option, and I understand game-wise they don't want that, but shouldn't they have released it with a Russian machine gun instead for the flamer and a Russian card as well? Couldn't you say, I think it would be great to have a Russian player. Yes, I know it's like the Matilda and the Chica and everything else that I play that is too old, it's too lame, but I don't mind having an army that, okay, yes, we took everything we found in town to try to defend us in this battle. It was the hay pitch, it was the it was the torches, it was the bricks, it was this old fucking armored car, a tractor. I would actually, as a Russian player, I would like to bring a unit on a tractor with just with rifles on it or something. It would be totally ludicrous, but just this is like everything we had at the moment, and we're you get the picture, I think.
Yeah, I totally get that idea. Yeah, it would be nice, but I think that's something for the people that wants to build their own things.
Oh yeah,
probably more than the people who really want to, because, well, yeah, that's a good point.
What I'm thinking is, it's going to be super interesting to see what other vehicles will be released for the cultists. I mean, this is obviously coming from the SSU stuff, like background-wise. What will the next one be? Will it be something from the Allies, something from the Axis, or something completely different?
I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds here, but I would suspect that one of the vehicles that will be released will be a German one. It will be that, wasn't it the Mercedes we were watching, or was a big Volkswagen, and it will be probably a command car, even though it was not a command car, it was just a big limo or something, because we've seen a picture, I think it was Facebook, when it's in the background, and they have the cultists standing around it, and that just looks like an awesome command car if I were like this crazy cultist gang and was old style.
Yeah, could be. And just to kind of to interject a point there, the car itself is a Russian car, but the armaments is a British Vickers machine gun.
Interesting.
So they are kind of mix and matching things.
That's good. That's very good for
cool.
the cultist.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's also something that one were hoping to see even more with the mercenaries. So if it comes in here, well, okay. Which also makes it more interesting. Should I perhaps make a infantry cultist / mercenary infantry with some vehicles in it? Because I don't think I ever will do the Mythos creatures, unfortunately. I just don't see myself doing it. But the infantry ones, because the models are so beautiful, and with those interesting new vehicles, it could appeal for me to make some fucked up thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting could make thing. For a really interesting and like colorful army, if you know what I mean. With all kinds of some really ragtag stuff, some hired guns. And,
now that you said that about taking stuff from the other armies, I'm wondering what the cultists might be able to do with the Desert Scorpion trucks.
Yeah,
that could be an interesting kind of thing. You just stick some other types of machinery and weapons and stuff on there, and just cultify it up.
Yeah. Definitely, that would be great. I hope they do something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We had some previews of upcoming things also. One of the things I kind of hinted at earlier, we have some new upcoming units for the Desert Scorpions, or rather some old units that's kind of joined the Desert Scorpions. This is,
Oh, sorry.
and this is directly a result of the Endless War campaign. When what it is Action Jackson and the Heavy Commandos, the units that previously were part of the special squad, the special
service brigade.
The special service brigade. They are now going to be in the Desert Scorpions. So more phasers for the people. And of course, like you hinted, airborne.
Yeah, sorry. That was it was a cannonball, I realized after a while. He forgot his suit or something. Shoot, I mean, not the suit. I hope for his sake he's not jumping without a suit.
No, I think it's great. I think it's very fitting, and I mean, now the Desert Scorpions, they have at least some units. They're going to be a lot more released soon, but yeah, they are getting. It's possible to build interesting and armies with some variation in it.
Absolutely.
And also because the Special Service Brigade, I still hope that they will someday in the future release more stuff so you can play a Service Brigade, and that they will still be part of both. I mean, Action Jackson and his guys. So I hope he's not leaving the Special Service Brigade.
No.
Yeah.
But still, now the Scorpions to me are getting. I mean, they were cool already, but now, yeah,
and this gives you more options, and also because I've been, of course, thinking I should play the Allied Inf 2 in Poland, just to
for the European Championships.
Just to fuck up with Marek, but he's coming now to Nordic, so perhaps perhaps we have done our thing after Nordic, and I can move on. And I always wanted the Desert Scorpions, and now because what I've seen with the problem when you have to solve the 3 mat boards in Poland, so you can't play the same army, I would say, on a 2 mat board as a 3 mat board.
No, I definitely agree. It's a completely different game, just because of the range differences. Yeah,
and then with the Service Brigade possibilities, the airdropping, you can have a slow army as long as you can pitch something in, perhaps, and disturb
I don't know, maybe we should remind our listeners out there that in Poland they have been running the tournament on 3 gaming mats instead of 2, so it's 9 by
18.
9 by 19.
Yeah, 9 by 18 exactly, instead of 9 by 12 squares. So it's a bit bigger, a bit longer. So you have to account for that.
And that actually, for those who haven't tried it, that does make quite a big difference.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's very fun also because it gives you the gives you the reason to play certain units, which you basically don't play otherwise. I think. But,
and especially you can really feel those differences. I mean, it's a big difference of having 12 compared to 14 or 16 in range suddenly. Like on a smaller board, it doesn't matter at all, almost. So
they're always in range.
Yeah. So there's a few interesting differences compared to playing on a smaller or regular board.
Absolutely. And one more kind of note from me about Action Jackson and those guys. One of the things I really like about this is that it finally gives people the opportunity to play with these guys without just hurting your faction bonus, because I know that's kind of the downside of the faction bonus, is that people feel like they have to have it, and you really don't.
No,
but people feel like they do. It's hard to pass up those extra 10% of points, and that means for very many people, Action Jackson is just not an option, and that's been very unfortunate. And now suddenly he is again, and I really like that, because I don't want to feel like any unit is just I can't use that. I can't just have that in my army, because it just wouldn't work with the rest of it. And so for that reason, I applaud this decision. Then we have some new sculpts for an old unit coming up, and the kind of old and new version of it. Basically, it's Rosie, the mechanic for the allies.
Yes. Sorry,
and we've seen not one, not two, not even 3 new versions, but 4.
Yes.
And this is
Rosies everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. So this is basically, it's 2 new poses, and there's 2 different armor classes. So it looks like one will be Soldier 1 and one with the armor plate, so that's Soldier 2. If that's going to be actually kind of reflected in the rules, we don't really know, but that's what it looks like to me.
I understand you, but there ain't that much armor on her in the first place.
Well, she in these new versions, she has one version with the big chest plate, with the armor plate, and one without. So
it's not much, but it's still more than nothing. So
and that is basically the difference between Soldier 1 and Soldier 2 for most of the grunts, for the most of the infantry. So we'll see if this is going to make a difference for her stats when this new model is going to be released. And we have no idea when, we have no idea in what form this will be released. Since it's 4 new sculpts, is it going to be kind of... I'm thinking it's going to be a future kind of tournament support thing, maybe?
It could be.
Maybe.
And it's so many things to say about it, actually. I try to dribble down it. But then, first off, it was great because I had made my own Rosie. I have never had the possibility to get hold of her, and I've started to realize she would be great to play with. So I made my own. And yes, I know, don't take that the wrong way, please. I only dice with her. Okay, perhaps that's even worse. Okay, what I mean to say is that I had just made my own version of her with the mercenary, as perhaps I mentioned even before, so perhaps I'm just repeating myself. But one of the renders was quite close to that pose from that mercenary with the way I made it. So it felt even more like, okay.
You felt validated.
Yes, it was okay for me to play this homemade model. Of course it was, but it made it even better. But then, of course, what should I do when all these 4 come out? Because they were so great, all the renders. I want all 4 of them. But the fact is also, it would be even cooler if they could be allowed to buy the 4, add the original one or your own version of Rosie, and put them in as some kind of Merc-like Rosie goes Merc, Rosie
mechanic
squad. Yeah, but
with like Rosie and her 4 clones.
Yeah, you have to, of course, make some adjustment, because of course they can't have like 15 dice and super grenade throwers. It would be an all expert with the wrench. It would be hysterical.
Yeah,
but I just feel like that's too good a unit visually that you want it on the game board.
Yeah, that definitely could be something to experiment with when you're playing casually, at least.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it's nice. I hope that it's a good idea to have some kind of tournament pack, but I also hope that it will be available to buy one way or the other, because Rose is one of those heroes. She's only been available in one of the older expansions, and it's kind of hard to get hold of them. At least I can't remember exactly which one she was in, but yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago now. So and it's she's a nice hero, and good to see her get a comeback.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, let's go over to mail call. We got a question from Twitter user Peter Spice Latte, and he says, "Hi, I'm enjoying the show. I'm finally getting back into Dust after a few years away. I play Blutkreuz, and I already have the Sturmwaffen, the zombies, and the Axis sets from the original starter sets. What other additions would you suggest?" And he finishes by saying that he's a casual player, so it's not looking for what's tournament viable, just for what's going to be fun to play. And I think for me, my first suggestion would be wait for the new upcoming Blutkreuz Heroes and Commands Squad box set, because that's going to add quite a lot of power and versatility to the Blutkreuz.
That was my first thought as well. I mean, that new command unit is going to be nice, and all the heroes. It seems to me in his question here that he don't really have those heroes. Maybe, I don't know, possibly Sigrid from the old starter set.
Yeah,
but if that's the only one,
you get the new ape hero for the Sturmwaffen, you get the zombie heroes for the zombie squads. So yeah, it's going to add a lot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a nice box to have.
I unfortunately don't have it in front of me as you guys have. Could you just run by me once again the units you said, the infantry units he had?
Sturmwaffen, zombies, and the Axis sets from the original starter sets.
So he has some zombies, some original zombies then. To me, a personal tip would be immediately buy Frank von Stein. Because I love the way the blob works, but to me it's much more fun to play the Frank von Stein platoon.
Oh yeah, that's a very, very good suggestion actually.
And you also need that anti-air thing. You need something. Okay, perhaps he has a walker with a 2 dice 1 against anti-air, but that's the real thing that hinders me when I'm playing Blutkreuz, is that if it's a chopper or a flyer comes in, they eat you up too easy before you get into that nice huggable situation when you can just get to know your opponent
Spread
better.
The love.
Yeah, you can nibble a little bit on his ear and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
No, so just to get there, perhaps you need some anti-air, and also Frank von Stein, he has the machine guns with his crew and stuff like that.
He mentions that he has zombies already, but I'm not sure which zombies. And also in the Frank von Stein box you get the what are they called? You get the zombies with weapons.
Yeah, the one that shoots.
Exactly, and that's actually a really nice squad. It's a tad expensive, I mean, compared to the cheapest zombies, the all close combat zombies. But they are actually nice. They bring some punch and
And like you said, Ludde, I think the for just a casual gamer, I think the biggest reason to buy the Frank von Stein starter box is to get the opportunity to play with that platoon. Because that platoon is very fluffy, it's very fun to play with, and it's one of those platoons that really forces your opponent to alter his battle plan.
Definitely.
And like I said, I love that. That just makes the game so much more dynamic and so much more intense and so much more fun.
That Frank model is, I mean, he's a super cool character.
Oh, definitely.
And it seems that you can still get the limited edition version, the running pose version with some. I saw some guy recently had purchased one of the Frankenstein starter boxes and got that with it. So it seems like it's still possible to get that, just to have that variety if you want to. So that's that's a good suggestion.
That's a super pose. And it also, you almost mentioned it, and I talk more than I should perhaps, but just that you get the possibility to change around. You get more flexibility. Perhaps you don't play with all those units every time, but you get everything can be used at different places. So go for the Frankenstein, I would say.
So do we have any other suggestions just for things to kind of put on the back burner?
Yeah, I think he should not the Sturm.
The Sturmkönig?
Yeah, the big
Lothar?
No. Königslothar is the big four-legged.
The artillery?
Yeah, the big four-legged one with the machine guns to shoot down airplanes. I'm still on the same.
The Sturmkönig.
Sturmkönig. Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, I get those mixed up. Because that is also a tank hunter, and that is a very versatile.
Yeah, it's still visually one of my absolute favorite units in the game, and it is one of the most versatile units in the game. It can damage absolutely everything. So if you want something just to put in any Axis army and it will do very, very well, then absolutely go for the Sturmkönig.
Because then you can play all with your list right away, or as you hinted, and then you can start pick up every other stuff that if you want that special platoon, special list later on, you can still collect while you play with that.
Yeah,
one.
Exactly. I mean, in the end, it depends on what you like to play. It seems to me that he has a little bit of everything almost, and depending on if you want to go for more melee, then you need more zombies, more apes. If you want to have some more like backup support units, you could have some walkers. Either
I'm thinking maybe a Stummel, something to put the monkeys inside and get them over the board quicker, just a transport walker.
Exactly, that's a really good point, because even if the zombies can't be transported, the apes, the gorillas, they still can. So that's a actually cool combination.
And then it's the standard, and it's so standard nowadays, it's getting a little bit boring, but then connecting to what you talked about earlier and giving you guys a point, do as everyone else does who doesn't play Russian, kidnap a Nadia. It's a bullet magnet. If they see your kidnapped Nadia, and it's also fun converting it with Blutkreuz things on it and zombie parts and stuff like that. It's running in the center, they shoot at it, and your monkeys, your zombies and everything is left alone. And
you could even do an auto.
Yeah, definitely. Auto. Do the auto. That's better.
That's just fluff-wise, I think that fits more.
So true.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into the next section here, and this is something that I think is going to be very exciting for a lot of our listeners out there, because we are actually going to be running our first contest here on Dust War Journals, and it's going to be a terrain building contest.
Yay! How is that possible in a podcast?
Yes.
How is it possible? Please tell me.
Yes, well, how this is going to work is that you are going to be building terrain pieces and putting up pictures of it. There's going to be a form on our website that you will be able to send in your entries into, with link to the image of your terrain, and you can post the image anywhere you want. If it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, if it's on the SAC Dust forums, or anywhere you want. And the way this works, just to make it clear, so there's not going to be any favoritism, this is going to be a random draw, but there are 4 different ways to get a ticket or like an entry. Mm-hmm. And first off, just by building a custom piece of terrain and posting a picture, that's one entry.
And that's the main thing, you have to do that. The other things is...
the other things are kind of extra. Yeah.
Okay, and my favorite, of course, is that do a rule for this terrain. Try to invent some, special thing that happens when you interact with this terrain. You have the beautiful ones that Dust Studios have released for all there, so to inspire you. Don't make it too complex, I would say, but that's of course up to you. But just what happens when you interact with this terrain piece?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a big thing or a complicated rule, but yeah, something that isn't already in the terrain rules.
Yeah. Exactly. And if you do that, then that's one extra entry, one bonus entry.
And just to, because I like to say this for some reason, I'm a vegetarian, but I love the barbecue one rule, when you grill your cows. That's a super rule. That's one of the best rules in all Dust, even though I'm a vegetarian. So, I mean, please do something crazy like that.
Right. And to get another entry, you could make your terrain with some kind of Cthulhu theme, some kind of Cthulhu related. I would say that it could also be big or small. You could make some, I don't know, tentacles or whatever, or some other kind of mythos reference.
Or if it's just a cultist symbol on a wall on a piece of something that's related to the mythos or to the cultists.
And if you do, make sure it is shown in the photo you take of your terrain.
Yes.
Do you want to say this later? Why? That is.
We are coming to that because we have one final way. That's another bonus entry, and the final way you can get a bonus entry is by writing a kind of background story for your piece of terrain. If this is a special, let's say it's a jeep that has been run down, that has some important documents in the trunk that people are trying to get to, something like that. If it's kind of a background story, then that's a final piece of that's a final bonus. So there's 4 chances that you can win. And let's go to the reason why we're going to make this Cthulhu theme. Because the grand prize for this contest is the limited edition avatar of Nyarlathotep. So this is a quite a hefty prize, and this is available for everyone worldwide. We will ship this to you if you win with absolutely no cost to you.
Shouldn't they come here and pick it up? I thought
if you want, of course.
Pick up only.
If you, I can tell you this: if you come to us in Sweden from outside of Sweden and pick it up, we will give you a bonus prize.
Oh yes, definitely, perhaps more.
And talking about bonus prizes, we haven't really figured out exactly what, but there are going to be more than one prize. But this is the grand prize winner. But there are going to be some extra bonus items. Just given away randomly to people.
Anyone who wants to participate in this contest, they have to build something. They have to post picture, and they can get extra chances to win if they write background story, if they make some kind of Cthulhu related stuff on the terrain, and if they make some kind of special rules that you interact with in the game.
Yeah,
and. There is a deadline for this as well.
There is, and the deadline is Friday, April the 27th. So you are going to have quite a lot of time to get all this stuff going.
Almost 2 months from when we are recording this.
Yeah. And of course, only 1 entry per person.
Yeah. But with the 4 chances of win if you do everything.
Yes.
So,
and this the final draw will be similar to how the
1 point a day. Sorry, I'm jumping.
Exactly. On the Facebook that Dust Studio is running, so anyone can participate. And in almost 2 months from now, we will make a random draw. So we will not be any judges. It will be random for anyone who participates.
Yeah.
And if we're lucky, it will be not a live event, but it will be.
We'll see what we can do. It might be able to have some kind of live thing going on. Yep. It's not impossible. Yep.
You're the technical wizard, so whatever you.
If we do that, we are going to tell you at least a few days in advance. So, right. And I think that's it for this episode. So we know what we are going to be doing in the coming weeks, and we have Dust Nordic coming up, and of course there is still there is still opportunity to get involved. You have a few days to register, to
book your flight or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. You are very, very welcome, everyone.
So Dust Nordic is on 24th and 25th of March.
Yep, that's correct.
And the deadline for registering is on
March 10th.
March 10th, right?
Yeah.
And we will, of course, do anything to help you to get here if we can. If you need some help in any way, don't hesitate to call or mail or something like that. I'm not speaking for anyone else now, but I'm housing 7 altogether of the tournament players. So I don't think I can house any more. I think it's quite crammed here at my place, but I'm sure we can solve every problem you have if you just let
us know if there's any problem. If you want to come here but have some kind of problem, let us know, and I'm sure we can sort it out some way.
Absolutely. And otherwise, just get starting on building that terrain.
Yes, please. We're looking forward so much. And we're looking forward to seeing you in Nordic.
Absolutely. Yes. And for everyone going to Nordic, we will literally see you on the battlefield. If you want to get in contact with us during the show, you can email us at dustwarjournals@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for Dust War Journals. All music used in this podcast is made by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com.